Okay guys, I'm making it. The dreaded Zens video. As we know, everyone hates Zens, and everyone's freaking the fuck out about Zens. So step one when using Zens, stop freaking the fuck out. Okay. Everyone breathe. We're gonna do this. So, first thing we're gonna do, let's talk about what the fuck is Zens. I'm so glad you asked, person. Let's look at this. Your light attacks apply a touch of Zen on enemies for 20 seconds. Enemies with a touch of Zen take an additional 1% more damage for each damage over time effect you've placed on them, up to 5%. So, let's break down what that means. A touch of Zen. What is that? Glad you asked. So let's do it. A touch of Zen is that lovely little mark up there. It looks like it's a green background with a black hand coming out. That is your touch of Zen. That is how you know the set is active. So now that we know what it looks like when it's active, let's break down the next part. You get an additional X% of damage based on how many dots you have on the person. The target, the boss, in this case a dummy. So let's go ahead and activate our touch of Zens again. See it up there? We got it activated. So now we can put some dots on here. Let's just do this for example. We now have 3 dots on here, which means this dummy for the next 5 seconds is going to take an additional 3% damage as long as that touch of Zens is there. Touch of Zens is off. So now it doesn't matter how many dots I have on this guy. It's irrelevant because you don't see that green hand. But now you see the green hand and I have 5 things up. So that is 5%. Now as things are dropping, now I only have 1% of Zens. Why? Because currently there's only 1 dot active. So let's do this. We've got this, and this, and this. But now my touch of Zens has dropped. So, we need to make sure that we always have the touch of Zens, and we need to keep those dots up, which is the problem that everyone's having. I think we all kind of understood how Zens worked. It's really about how to use it practically. So, touch of Zens is active. What you're gonna do is you're gonna panic. No, just kidding. We're gonna have some dots on our bar. There are other dots you can use. I am gonna go over the ones that I like to use. Don't scream at me when I'm recording. That's rude. Okay. The dots that I like to use: Soul Trap, Shock Reach, or Flame Reach. We will go over Flame Staffs because that was a question. Degeneration, and Vampire's Bane. Now those are 4 dots. We will go over how we're making up the 5th percent. But those 4 dots, I like those because Soul Splitting Trap and Shock Reach have the same amount of time active. If I hit Soul Trap and Shock Reach, they both last for 10 seconds. So what that means for me is I'm in the heat of battle, I'm freaking out because I'm like, oh god, I gotta keep Zens up. What am I gonna do? These 2 last the exact same amount of time. So what I have to do is just watch for Soul Trap. And as soon as Soul Trap goes to 1, hit it again, and I know I have to reapply my Shock Reach. Which means I don't have to pay attention to anything else on the bar, on his little debuff bar right now, except for Soul Trap. I don't care about how much time Shock Reach has, because I know it's 1 second less than my Soul Trap. So I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to look at it. I don't even care what it looks like. It's there because I will always hit it right after Soul Trap. So just track Soul Trap. Don't worry about anything else. How does that work for this bar? Degeneration and Vampire's Bane. Now there's actually a couple second difference between these 2. I actually for a while had Vampire's Bane first and then Degeneration. But Degeneration is the shorter skill, so that's the one I really should be tracking, not Vampire's Bane. So, in this case, again, we don't care about Vampire's Bane because not only did we hit it second, but it also has 2 extra seconds on it that we don't care about. So I just need to track Degeneration. So I've reapplied it, and there's still quite a few seconds left before I have to reapply Vampire's Bane. But I will always try to hit it right after. What I might do though is I might do this, then that, then that. I know with Vampire's Bane I have a few seconds of wiggle room to work it out. So Springs, that, Breath of Life, Vampire's Bane, and then Degeneration. Soul Trap, Shock Reach, Degeneration, Vampire's Bane. Again, the only thing I'm worried about, Soul Trap. And then I know to do Shock Reach. I have some time. Degeneration, I have some time. Vampire's Bane. This, for me, was the easiest thing. There are other skills you could use. I have to find them first. You can use Flame Rune. I don't like that because not only is that a channeled ability, that's also something, as you can see, I don't have purchased and I don't care to level up. That's a me thing. That doesn't have to be a you thing. Someone said spiders. I haven't tried that. Again, don't have it. Don't have skill points. That's just... It's stamina though, so that would help with martial knowledge. But in the case where we're doing Asylum Sanctorum +1, +2 right now, I need a lot of stamina for running the hell away. I don't have time for more moves that waste stamina. So, for right now, these are the four moves I choose to use. Okay, so we went over our 4 dots, and I told you I would go in further detail on the 5th percentage. There are 2 ways to do your 5th thing. I prefer, and the better way, logically, is to use enchants. You can use poisons, just understand with poisons they do fall off and they stay off more often. Which means you're really consistently only doing 4%, and just like sometimes you're getting 5% of Zens. With this, you're technically going to have 6 things potentially proccing. So your chances at having 5% is increased significantly. So, we are going to have horrible thing to do for a healer. I know. It was weird for me too, guys. A lightning staff that's infused with a poison damage glyph. Yes, I know. You'd never seen the day. It's time. So, we have it infused because it reduces the cooldown of the enchantment. We want poison on our lightning staff for our Wall of Elements to do because the poison status effect lasts longer than the burning status effect. So poison, let's see if we can't proc it here. And this is also a good reason why we're talking about poisons not being 100%. Look how long it took that poison to come up. Poison is that little skull debuff up there. That is how we know there is a poison status effect currently on this download. Now, the best way to get these to proc is using Wall of Elements, Light Attacking, and Shock Reach. All these things will proc your poison enchant. It has pretty good uptime. And even though I have it infused, I'm going to go ahead and just keep this rotation for reasons. It might fall off. It shouldn't. We have an infused staff. We're going to be doing skills, but it will, at times, as you can see right now, fall off. But it does come back on pretty quickly. So, we have to make up for the times that it does sometimes fall off with a flame damage glyph on your resto staff. Make me hurl. It's fine though. Remember, we're gonna get through this together. Flame damage on a charged staff. Don't laugh at me because it's purple. I have the rosin. I'm just lazy, okay? I will fix it eventually. Flame damage with a charged staff because you want to increase the chance of you getting that burning status effect. So with this, light attacks, proc it right there. Your light attack will proc it, and your Vampire's Bane will also sometimes proc the status effect. So, as long as we keep doing this, you should have a pretty decent uptime of the burning status effect. It's not going to be forever. As you can see, it does sometimes drop. It's gonna happen. It's not 100% accurate. But, as we discussed earlier, poisons are worse. So as you can see, I'm still waiting for the status effect to come back. So imagine, I'm doing this with poisons instead that have less of a proc rate. You can still use them. They will still proc Zens, just not as often as doing the enchants. I almost forgot about the Inferno Staff question. You can use Inferno Desto Staff with this build, especially if your group comp already has enough lightning staffs going for the off balance to proc. If you do want to use an Inferno Staff, you can. That would mean your Wall of Elements, your Vampire's Bane, and your Flame Reach would all be able to proc your burning status effect. You would still want to keep your Poison Glyph on your Destro Staff bar though, because that has more chance to proc between your Flame Reach and your Wall and your Light Attacks. You have more chance to proc your poison, and that's the one that's gonna last the longest. That's the one we do want up. But now you also have an extra two things that will proc your burning. So technically speaking, you could change your Resto Staff enchant. I'm gonna be honest, I don't use flame staffs. I don't have a martial knowledge flame staff, so I have not used it. I wouldn't even know what to tell you to put back there. You could keep the flame glyph on there. That would just give you 4 things to proc your burning, which I don't think is a bad thing. But if you also want to do like a Magicka drain, so you could get some mag back, because this rotation is a little mag heavy, that might be something to consider. Okay, so we've gotten our poison, we've gotten our burning, we've gone over our dots. Okay, let's see kind of a full Zens-ish rotation. And we're just focusing on Zens right now. I will go over into the martial knowledge mix of this. But let's get this for the folks at home, some idea. Let me also get my tri-stats off, because that's not helpful. Well, I guess it's helpful in this case. We're not worrying about martial knowledge. So, what are we worrying about? Keeping our Zens up. Let's try this and do our best. Soul Trap, Light Attack, Shock Roach, Light Attack, Degeneration, Light Attack, and we got our Vampire's Bane. That is what you're gonna look for. You do not have to Light Attack Weave. The touches Zens last for 20 seconds. As long as you have Zens active and your dots going, it's fine. So you could Light Attack when it falls off, if you wanted to. But because we are proccing our enchants, we want to try to Light Attack Weave to A, keep Zens up so it never falls off, and B, to proc our enchants. So we're going to just Light Attack Weave like we're a DPS or something. It's a horrible time if you're, in the healer mindset. It's not fun. I know it's not fun. But, it's just something you can do. To make everyone happy, to make your life better. Okay, I'm just pressing seconds. Let me go. let me actually explain. So, I like to start. It doesn't always happen. But I prefer to start with my dots that last the longest. That way it gives me more time to set up my heals. So I'm gonna start on my resto bar. So Degeneration, Vampire's Bane. Then you can swap and do your Soul Trap and your Shock Reach. Now again, right now, you're looking for Degeneration. Gonna proc it again. Swap, Soul Trap. Now we're watching Degeneration. Okay, Soul Trap's about to go out. Okay, Degeneration has 5 seconds. Degeneration. Soul Trap's about to go out. You just look for Degeneration, Soul Trap. Don't care about anything else. That being said, once you get used to your rotation, once you're able to focus on multiple things, get a feel for it, if you looked at that rotation that I was going back again. Once you look at it, honestly, Degeneration and Soul Trap are the ones that are gonna fall off. If you wanted to be extra, you could hit your other ones and then re-up Vampire's Bane, but then that's, you know, confusing because now it's all weird. Why would you do that when you had them on your bars for a reason? At least that's what Vatani likes to think. So, I will just re-up Vampire's Bane. Because it's just easier to track it. Like, I'll have them on my bar, I can track them, and just place them at the same exact time. So I don't have to remember other skills. Okay, a little bit of a Zen's rotation. Now, we also have a second set, Martial Knowledge. Martial Knowledge, of course, is something that we proc by getting rid of our stamina. Once you're below 50% stamina, you can do a light attack. It will proc Martial Knowledge, which is that little blue debuff there in the corner. Martial Knowledge does have a cooldown. It will not be up 100% of the time, but as long as you work it in with your Zen's rotation, you will be able to keep it up. Firing, that will sometimes happen during the goddamn update.